The discovery was made when the Assembly decided to investigate the activities of the State Task Force on COVID-19. The diverted items meant to provide relief to people affected by COVID-19 are said to be worth millions of naira. They were discovered in different warehouses in Minna, the state capital. According to the Sun newspapers, the team visited the warehouses where these items were stacked following a tip-off from the public. Dr. Madka.
It's really unfortunate, really. And you can't find this in only in Minna, probably in other states.
Exactly.
It just shows how we have system failure, because how on earth people are hungry and such items are kept. It gives you an idea about the kind of mentality our leaders, we have here. We call our leaders. It's like vampires. What I mean by vampires, somebody that hates humanity. You don't like anything that will improve other people's life. Otherwise, how somebody was given this contract to supply this, the person has made his money, and somebody who's supposed to do the other needful. Nonchalant attitude.
Make the palliatives go around.
Nonchalant attitude. And of course, you see, we've seen this thing, the person who is involved will just go scot-free. So there's no punitive measure for such, laxtra, attitude to doing the right thing. If we have a system whereby somebody is punished for doing something that is not supposed to be, I think people should be able to emulate. But unfortunately, we see that the person that did this thing could be one of the governor's brother or nephew or something. So at the end of it, just end like that.
There will be no consequences.
No consequences at all. That's the issue. Okay.
All right, Prince Chilaka.
When you talk about palliative and the fact that we're beginning to find some of the supposed palliatives in some warehouses, I ask myself, what kind of humanity are we? It appears that Nigerians have lost everything that defines humanity. We could say, yes, our leaders, but our leaders are people. They are humans. There must be people before governance. So it means that the people actually have gotten to that point we have gotten to that point in the history of our life where we say anything goes. It's become survival of the fittest, because that's what the country is faced with right now. People have lost humanity. People have lost their consciousness. People have lost no conscience. So we just have more. We're like daily falling into what they call banana republic.
Yeah, I think because it's the society that begets the leaders, and of course, what is transpiring here, and probably in the subsequent discussion we're going to have, we still discover that it still boils down to all of us. Now the Minna guys, they've seen this thing, and everybody will just be at home. They will not come out and protest, because you see, if you don't do things that ought to be done by you, it just ends like that. Because this is your money. And of course, what people don't understand, that when this thing is being showcased, don't look at it from the perspective, oh, it's government money. No, it is your money that's being wasted. Until you realize that every kobo that the government is spending, they're not spending it because they are government, they are spending it because they have it, and it's because you empower them to do that.
All right, now I'm asking, stacking up items are supposed to be used as COVID-19 palliatives. What is the intention? You want to go and resell them in the market, or you are saving up for yourself and your family, in case the pandemic becomes worse? What really is the intention? Seriously, this kind of question comes to mind.
You're asking a very funny question.
Yes,
and I would say
it comes to mind.
Yes, I'll say it's very funny because if you have followed occurrences within Nigeria in the last 1 month or in the last 2 weeks, especially with the NDDC and
Magu,
and then you now hear, I read somewhere where they say, chairs, a contract was awarded for the supply of chairs. The chairs were not supplied, the money was given out, and the chairs were traced back to the supplier. So it simply shows that greed. And I don't know, it's difficult to understand the type of greed we have in Nigeria. Because everybody that has died, that I know, that has so much money, that have piled up so much money, none of them went with one kobo.
All right, this is very disturbing news because, during the lockdown, most people came out crying and actually like talking about the government failing in its duties not to provide palliatives for the people. But gradually, stories are coming out which goes to show that the government, the federal government, I mean, did do what they were supposed to do in terms of making funds available for these palliatives to have been given out. But then people that we elected into offices just did not make the palliatives get to the people.
No, sorry, patience. I want to digress from
quickly,
there.
sir.
You cannot say the government did what they're supposed to do.
But obviously, for the palliatives to have been stacked up in a warehouse, it means they were provided for in the first place.
It's like if you are embarking on a project, you must have a project supervisor.
There's a monitoring.
There must be monitoring. So if you disburse money without follow-up, without monitoring, then you're part of the problem.
Okay. All right, we have an early viewer here. Stephen from Ikeja says, good afternoon, Patience and Dr. Madka Priscilaka. I hope today will be a great day. Thank you, Stephen. I hope it will be a great day too. Kainde Adeleke from Jokwemo says, people can be heartless. Some people are dying of hunger, while someone could have the mind to hold on to what the masses are supposed to use as relief to alleviate their suffering. And we keep praying to God to heal our land. There is God. Oh. All right, this other one says, why will people hide palliatives instead of them to be sharing it to the needy? Divine from Abule Egba says, may God help us. Nowadays, you hear bad news only in Nigeria, and it is all because of Nigerians' corrupt mentality.